Our top 10 takeaways from Man's Search for Meaning, a book by Viktor Frankl. The pursuit of meaning is more fulfilling than the pursuit of pleasure. Frankl criticizes the pleasure principle, or the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain, as the primary motivation for human behavior. He argues that a more fulfilling and profound way to live is to pursue meaning and purpose, which may sometimes involve suffering or sacrificing pleasure. We have the freedom to choose our response to any situation. Frankl emphasizes that we always have the freedom to choose our response to any situation, no matter how dire. He refers to this as the last of human freedoms. Even in the concentration camps where everything was taken from him, Frankl found that he could still choose his attitude and how he responded to his circumstances. Suffering can have meaning. Frankl argues that suffering itself is meaningless, but we can give it meaning by the way we respond to it. If we can find a purpose in our suffering, it can become more bearable and even transformative. For Frankl, his suffering in the concentration camps became meaningful because it allowed him to develop his theory of logotherapy and help others. Life has meaning under all circumstances. Frankl emphasizes that life always has meaning, regardless of the circumstances. He based this on his experiences in Nazi concentration camps, where he observed that those who were able to find meaning in their suffering were more likely to survive. Frankl argues that finding meaning in life is a choice, and even in the most terrible situations, one can choose to find meaning and purpose. We must actively create our own meaning. Frankl emphasizes that meaning is not something that we can passively receive from the outside world. Instead, we must actively create our own meaning by the choices we make and the actions we take. Meaning can be found even in suffering and death. Frankl suggests that even in the face of suffering and death, it is possible to find meaning. For example, facing suffering with courage and dignity can give it meaning, and so can reconciling with death and accepting it as a part of life. Love can give life meaning. Love for others can give our lives meaning and help us endure even the most difficult circumstances. Frankl recounts how his love for his wife gave him a sense of purpose and helped him survive the concentration camps. It is important to have a future orientation. Frankl observed that those who had a sense of purpose and a goal for the future were more likely to survive the concentration camps. He argues that having a future orientation and something to look forward to can give life meaning and help us persevere through challenges. Responsibility is key to finding meaning. Frankl emphasizes that with freedom comes responsibility. We are responsible for our own lives, and it is up to us to find meaning and purpose in our existence. It is our responsibility to decide how we will respond to any given situation and to choose to live a life that is meaningful. Despair is suffering without meaning. Frankl describes despair as suffering without meaning. He suggests that suffering becomes unbearable when we cannot see any purpose or meaning in it. On the other hand, if we can find a sense of purpose in our suffering, it can become more bearable and even have a positive impact on our lives.